As we all get more devices and more equipment, we need something that's going to power all of those things. Going on long road trips and having the power to charge all of your equipment for weeks off-grid is super important, and small portable phone chargers won't last you very long. That's where this beefy unit of a power station comes in. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Gofort 1000 watt portable power station. So what's up with the name? Why is 1000 watts right in the title? Aren't most batteries rated in milliamps? 1000 watts is in the title because this thing can deliver up to 1000 watts of power. Why is that important? Well, watts are the rate of electrical consumption. 1 watt is a very small amount of power. Your phone charger uses about 5 watts of power. A smart TV uses about 157 watts. An air fryer uses from 700 to 1500 watts. And a clothes dryer on the very extreme end uses about 5000 watts of power. So essentially, larger pieces of electrical equipment require more watts of power in order to run. Now, you aren't going to be using this power station to run your clothes dryer, but you can already see that this thing can power a lot of things, whether that's when you're camping or even just at home. So enough of that nerdy stuff, let's get into the specs of this power station. There's a lot of specs on this. I need my phone to go over these because I don't remember all these. So this is a 252,000 milliamp battery, which is big. My iPhone 13 mini here has about 2,406 milliamp batteries. So this guy is quite a bit bigger than this guy. It is a lithium-ion battery that uses pure sine wave AC power. There are 2 QC USB 3.0 ports, 2 USB-C ports, which I really like, 2 regular AC outputs, and 4 DC outputs, which is kind of like, why? What's really sweet is that there is wireless phone charging on the top. There is a cigarette lighter output, which is probably not going to be used for cigarettes. A DC input for charging, a PV input for charging, an SOS LED light, a large illuminating LED light panel on the back, an entire LCD display on the front. The battery itself weighs 19.1 pounds, and the entire box with everything weighs 23.5 pounds. And what's nice is there is a folding handle to carry all of that weight. Basically, there is a lot on this thing, which is fantastic for a power station because you have a ton of different options. Okay, so let's get into the test that I ran this battery through. So unfortunately, I didn't get to take this thing out camping because it is winter in Wisconsin, but I actually found that to be okay. It was really hard for me to drain the battery. It took a long time to get it to run down to 0. Before making this video, I really didn't know anything about watts and like power consumption, but after charging my Apple Watch and my iPhone probably over 50 times, I hardly got the battery to go down at all. I had to run it through some harder tests in order to really drain the battery. So starting from 100% battery, I plugged in my 55-inch 4K smart TV and my Xbox Series X and played Battlefield 2042 online for 2.5 hours, and the battery ran down to 30%. I literally played video games online with a 4K TV for 2.5 hours and didn't run the battery out. Also, while I was using that much power, the fan was on, but it was super quiet. Like, I could hardly hear it, to the point where I had to figure out what the noise was in my room, and then I realized it was the fan on the battery. And what I'm really happy about is that this battery did not get hot at all while I was using it. So I charged this back up to 50%, and I charged my phone 8 times, I charged my Apple Watch 8 times, I charged my computer about 1.5 times, and I ran my external monitor for 3 hours. And then finally, I got the battery to go to 0. So as for how long it takes to charge the battery, starting at full 0% using the DC input to charge. In the first 15 minutes, the indicator got up to 10%, which is cool. In 30 minutes, it got up to about 18%. It took about 2.5 hours for it to get about halfway. And then finally, after 6 hours of charging, it got to 100%, which is great. In the manual, it says that it would take about 6 to 8 hours to 100% charge the battery. And yeah, it was like dead near exactly 6 hours to fully charge the battery, which isn't bad for 252,000 milliamps of power. That's pretty sweet. You can charge the whole thing up in only 6 hours. As for the LCD display, I love it. The most important part of that is that it shows you the power remaining. And what's really cool is that it actually shows you how many watts of power that you're using. So when I was playing Xbox with my TV and my Xbox plugged in, I was using about 260 watts of power. So about 1/4 what that thing can really do. What also was pretty cool is after I quit the game, it instantly went down to 120 watts of power. So it shows you in real time what you're actually using, which I think is pretty cool. Also, the LCD display itself dims when you're not using it, so it saves a little bit of battery power, and it turns back on just by hitting any of the buttons on the front. So there are AC, DC, and USB buttons that you can push on this, and you can actually turn those off when you're not using them. Like I said before, this thing has wireless charging on top, which is pretty sweet. I definitely like that, and what's great is it's always ready to go. You don't have to push a button to turn that on. You just set your phone down on top, and then boom, starts charging. This worked really well. I kind of noticed my phone get a little hot. I've never used wireless charging before using this, so maybe that's normal, I don't know, but I did notice that if I take my OtterBox off my phone, put my phone on top, it works better and doesn't get as hot. I don't have experience with wireless charging, so I really can't say much about that one. Here on the back is the LED light panel, I guess that's what I would call it. That thing is super sweet. It will for sure light up your room or a campsite or illuminate your tent, and it really doesn't use that much power at all. I ran the light panel 2 separate times for 30 minutes each, and the battery didn't even go down by 1%. The front LED SOS beacon is very bright and very, very pinpoint. Yeah, it's doing SOS. Look at that. Oh, here comes S. Boop, boop, boop. I used to know Morse code. I honestly don't really see you using that for anything aside for an SOS beacon because it's like very one direction and very bright. Oh, my hands are killing me. So you wouldn't really use that LED SOS light for lighting up a room. To be honest, I would only really see you using that for an emergency situation because it's so pinpoint and so like directly bright. The only weird thing that I'm not used to with this is the PV input. I had to do some research for this one because I've seen it before, just never really known what it was. So I guess this is a fairly new kind of input relatively, and apparently you can also charge things faster with this. From what I found in my research, this PV input is mainly used in solar panels right now. I could be completely wrong. I am not an electrician. I just have a really big battery. In conclusion, this portable power station is pretty damn sweet. I really, really like it, and I was blown away that I could literally run my smart TV and my Xbox and play video games online using only this battery for power. And to do that for 2.5 hours. Having all of the different inputs for charging options is great. The 2 AC inputs, the wireless charging on top, 2 USB, 2 USB-C, 4 DC, even that cigarette lighter port. It's pretty great. There are a ton of options. Oh, my hands are freezing right now. I also really like the light panel on the back. It's bright, it hardly uses any power, and will definitely illuminate your entire tent, no matter how big. The LED SOS light on the front is very bright and very pinpoint, so it's going to be very good for an emergency situation, but I don't really see any other good use other than that. I'm gonna put my gloves on for this last bit, because I'm getting really, really cold. Man, it got chilly real quick. Oh, it's already so much better. Like I said, it's winter here in Wisconsin, so I'm glad I brought these with. So as for real world applications, this thing would be fantastic for camping if that's in a tent or a pop-up or in an RV or just car camping. It's gonna be great for all of those. This will for sure charge everything that you need and will definitely run any larger pieces of electrical equipment that you might have with you. Now, I can't speak to RV camping because that's not my type of thing, but I can't really imagine any typical camping equipment you would bring with you that uses over 1,000 watts of power. But with this, I'd be able to charge my phone, my watch, camera batteries, GoPro batteries, drone batteries, and laptop for a week and probably still have power remaining. Aside from camping, if you're home and there's an extended power outage, I'm sure this guy will keep you powered up for a long time. Overall, I am super happy with this, and I'll be bringing it along on all my future camping trips and road trips. Last thing that I want to say is that I am not sponsored by Gofort to make this video. They did send me the battery for free, but I have not been paid whatsoever, and this is my own personal review. And with all that stuff said now, please leave me any questions you have in the comment section down below. I'd love to answer any questions you guys have. Leave me a like if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to my channel if you want to, and I will see you guys in my next video. Peace out. I'm done. Ooh, I'm cold.